Coming up on Unpeeled, new releases in the wizarding world.
A wild month of music is in store with 4 highly anticipated releases.
And the end of Syracuse sports season leaves fans stunned.
All that and more, Unpeeled starts right now.
Welcome into the next episode of Unpeeled. I'm MacGregor.
And I'm Silverman. Let's jump right into our first story.
A$AP Rocky was arrested earlier today after a trip to Barbados with pregnant wife Rihanna at Los Angeles International Airport. LAPD says that he has been charged with assault of a deadly weapon in connection to a shooting in 2021.
The rapper has a history with gun violence and has been seen holding handguns and even shooting them. His wife Rihanna is currently pregnant with their first child. Johnny Depp and Amber Heard's legal trial is continuing as the stars face off in a $50 million settlement. Depp has previously lost a defamation case in the UK against The Sun newspaper over the same article by Heard.
Dr. David Kipper, the couple's therapist, recorded a testimony explaining how he never witnessed abuse between the couple, but treated Depp's severed finger after the incident. Depp later shared that this was due to Heard throwing vodka bottles at him.
Switching to the silver screen, Fantastic Beasts: The Secrets of Dumbledore had the lowest opening for any Wizarding World movie this past weekend in the United States. Dumbledore supposedly offers the best story, but the series is seemingly dying. Variety reports that Warner Brothers is considering cutting production on the series altogether.
And speculation has risen that the downfall comes as a result of J.K. Rowling's personal politics. Now, the author has been criticized for having anti-trans beliefs, which could be affecting the franchise. The fate of the series will depend on whether Dumbledore will succeed or fail in the box office. Now, despite the underwhelming opening, I do really want to give this movie a chance. I mean, J.K. Rowling controversy aside, this movie was released during the pandemic era, and I wouldn't expect it to do as well as other movies in the franchise, considering most movies, released recently have had the same problem of just an underwhelming start.
Yeah, Mia, I can agree to an extent, but the J.K. Rowling stuff is certainly something that you have to factor in. I mean, it's just so much craziness with all the stuff she has been saying, and personally, it just hurts this Gryffindor true and tried student here so much because this movie has so many fun callbacks. I mean, we might see, I'm not going to spoil anything here, but you might see a return to a certain school that rhymes with Wog Hearts, maybe? Who knows, Mia?
No, I totally agree. And I mean, I am excited to see it, and hopefully it will live up to the hype of its predecessors. Yeah,
we'll certainly have to see. I mean, I think it will do better come time, but yeah, I think the pandemic thing certainly factors into it a certain amount. And
definitely.
Come on, it's young Dumbledore. It's such a cool concept. I mean, more people will certainly want to come see it. But back to the music world here. It's a busy time for the music world. Like I mentioned, we've got Pusha, we've got Future, Harlow, and Kendrick all dropping albums later this month into May. Pusha's album, It's Almost Dry, comes out this Friday, April 22nd, followed by Future, who has rescheduled to release his album April 29th, a week later.
And after that, we have Jack Harlow's sophomore album, Come Home, the Kids Miss You, and Kendrick's new album will be his first solo album in 6 years. Now, fans are excited to say the least, but the real question is, will it outshine Harlow, Pusha, and Future?
Listen, Mia, when we're talking about outshining and things like here, I don't like to do that with music. Everybody has their tastes, and obviously we know where my tastes are leaning here. I mean, I'm finally going to bring up Jack Harlow. Come on. The Jack Harlow expert finally gets to talk about him. I'm so excited for his sophomore album. He's already built off the hype with that First Class single. Such a great sample. But, I got to ask you, obviously, I'm hyped for the Harlow album, but what are you looking forward to most with the slate of music coming up?
I'm not going to lie. Of all the new music, it's so exciting, but I'm really just waiting for Rihanna's album, and I've been waiting for so long. But if I do have to pick, I would say I'm most excited for Kendrick's album. I mean, Poetic Justice, DNA, they're 2 staples of my playlist, and I'm hoping for some more good music for him. And I would ask you whose album you're most excited for, but I have a pretty good feeling that I know the answer.
A little bit obvious, yeah. It's obviously Harlow's, like I mentioned, and I still do Kendrick, such a big fan, and 6-year gap between albums, I mean, come on, it's got to be such a banger once it comes around, Mia.
Definitely, and I'm so excited. But when we come back, we'll be covering HBO's new series, The First Lady.
And everything happening in the world of Syracuse sports. Stay tuned, Unpeelers.
Fancy pants peanut butter? a big screen television.
You haven't even bought a sofa yet.
A motorcycle? When your father finds out, he's gonna flip his shoes with 2 buckles. What do you even need 2 buckles for? Mr. Big Shot, buying whiskey shots for everybody in the bar. From the looks of it, I'd say nobody even remembers.
Feed the pig.
They said a bottle was just a bottle. That no one would ever notice me. But I knew I could be more. That one day, I would make people smile.
HBO premiered its brand new series, The First Lady, this past weekend. The show features 3 of the country's most influential ladies. Here to break down what you need to know about the show is our Unpeeled TV reporter, Jacob Goldberg.
HBO released their brand new anthology series, The First Lady, on Sunday. The show aims to display American leadership through the lens of the First Ladies. Starring Viola Davis as Michelle Obama, Michelle Pfeiffer as Betty Ford, and Gillian Anderson as Eleanor Roosevelt, HBO says the show will explore everything from their journeys to Washington to their family lives and their world-changing political contributions. Now, each episode of the new series will focus on all 3 ladies at once. Executive producer Suzanne Byers says the show doesn't move chronologically or profile each woman individually. Rather, the show works to, quote, find parallels between arguably 3 of the most popular first ladies ever. And while personally watching the first episode, I was blown away at how the show moved from one character to another and constantly without creating confusion between storylines. The series premiere specifically was split into 3 parts. The first part focused on Eleanor Roosevelt and her struggles with her husband Franklin developing polio. The second section of the episode displayed the Watergate scandal unfolding and Betty Ford's response to becoming the second lady. And for the final third of the episode, Michelle Obama had to wrestle with the pressure that comes with being the first black family to live in the White House. Now, since its release, the show has seen some mixed reviews from its audience. Many, like myself, have loved it. Personally, the acting was phenomenal, and Viola Davis does an excellent job playing Michelle Obama. But viewers were also glad to get a fresh perspective on history. But critics have criticized the show. Its first episodes believing it's disingenuous and contains historical inaccuracies. And when watching it myself, I noticed how the writers tried to connect the characters a little too much. In the beginning of the first episode, Betty Ford states that not all women can adjust to the life of the First Lady. And personally, I'm excited to learn more about how these brave women make changes in the White House.
Wow, Jacob, always good for a great show breakdown. Thank you so much. But moving to sports, with the end of the semester near, many of Syracuse's teams have wrapped up their season or will finish soon. To discuss the highs and lows that are Syracuse sports, we turn to our sports reporter, Spencer Pierce. Spencer, great to be back with you again.
I love you, man.
I love you
You're
too,
the
man.
best.
But
You're
you know what I don't think you love? I don't think you're in love with Syracuse sports right now. And that's, where I'm going to go with my first question. We'll start with the good here. Like I said, there are many highs and lows of sports on the Hill. What were some of the highs from this year?
All right. There are a lot of girl bosses on this hill. Let me tell you why. The women's ice hockey team winning the CHA tournament was an all-time moment. Now, we're going to talk a little bit about the head man, Paul Flanagan. but the women's ice hockey team reigned supreme in the CHA. They made it to the NCAA tournament, where unfortunately they lost to Ohio State in the first round. But that was amazing to see at Kennedy. And then women's lacrosse, you know, a perennial powerhouse in the women's lacrosse scene.
Oh, yeah.
Memorial Day weekend, a championship, it might be coming. They were there last year. If they could just get over the hump, it would be an awesome thing to see.
Boy, would I love to see a championship involved with some Syracuse sport, because with my next question here, Spencer, tell me about the very many disappointments we've had so far.
I mean, those all come on the men's side. Football, basketball, and lacrosse, and none of them were good. No. I mean, let's go to football first, because that's chronologically how it works. One win away from bowl eligibility with 3 games to go, and they didn't do it. Basketball, the team that made the Sweet 16 returns all their starters, gets transfer Cole Swider. They didn't even qualify for the NCAA tournament. They didn't even make the NIT tournament.
Unbelievable.
Embarrassing, some would say. They didn't even make the CBA. It doesn't even matter. And then lacrosse, you know, just as good of a powerhouse as the women's side is, they're not making the NCAA tournament. So on the men's front, really, really disappointing stuff this year.
Yeah, Spencer, a lot of disappointments, and quickly I want to get you, because storylines are always a thing. Give me one big storyline from this year that we can take home.
I mean, you got to look at the coaching carousel. There are so many new faces that we're going to see. Eunice Lamont from tennis, gone. Paul Flanagan from women's ice hockey, gone. Ian McIntyre from men's soccer, gone. Men's lax, John Desko out, Gary Gate in. Women's lacrosse, Kayla Trainer in, Gary Gate. And Felicia Leggett-Jack, the GOAT of all GOATs, is on her way to Syracuse.
Spencer, thank you so much. I'm going to give you some time to catch your breath after that coaching carousel.
Need an inhaler.
Yeah, of course. We'll get you one stat. But coming up, Coachella is underway, and we're here to cover some of the best and worst outfits so far. Stay with us, Unpeelers.
They call me Maxie, but I prefer tripod. I was your above-average four-legged homie, and then wham, bam, minivan. Some people pity me. Now that's lame. I still run, fetch, and swim. And the ladies love me. I'm the ultimate wingman. Just don't ask me to high five.
The black truck? Hey, Christina from accounting.
Yeah, hi.
Hey, I used to date a girl named Christina.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and then she dumped me for my best friend. You want to see some photos of them that I took?
I don't.
I thought we talked about this, buddy.
Buzzed and overshared again?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna call a car.
That's a smart idea.
So yeah, I know, that's why I did it.
Hey, you're gonna get back to the top of the mountain.
Does that mean I'm gonna get back with Christina?
No.
Oh.
No.
Weekend 1 in Indio has officially come to a close, and here to tell us if her Coachella fashion predictions for 2022 were correct is lifestyle reporter Peyton Spilesi. So Peyton, first of all, thank you so much for being here today. So right off the bat, were your predictions correct?
I would say that my predictions were pretty on point, to be honest. We talked last week a lot about big futuristic looks. We're talking silvers, and you can see right there we have a beautiful chainmail dress. It's like a baby doll look from a TikTok star, Alexis Francesca, and then you see Harry Styles and Shania Twain in their fun little pantsuit and sequins, and you see some disco boots as well. Paris Hilton always killing the game, and that glittery, sparkly, fun, like futuristic glasses. We saw a lot of that this week in weekend one at Indio, but what I wasn't expecting was we didn't see a lot of vintage fashion, which I thought we would. A little bit upset about that, but I'm glad we're moving into a new direction with fashion going for this futuristic, big, bold looks.
Yeah, definitely. And like you said, Paris has never looked bad a day in her life. But you said last week you expected knits and crochets to be a big trend, but not one you were really excited for. So were there any crochet looks you actually ended up liking?
Mia, I was shocked. People took the knit trend to the nth degree, and it looked so good. I thought a lot of the celebs, as you can see right there, Tinashe is wearing this really fun knit baby blue set that I've never seen before with some really cute sneakers and some fun glasses. Right there in the middle is TikTok fashionista. She's Lauren Wolf. She's wearing a really fun knit overlay over a bikini and some boots, which I think added some really great texture. And then Queen Vanessa Hudgens, of course, never looked bad at Coachella, wearing a really fun knit dress that showed off a fun little cut-off one piece. Yeah.
So fun.
Yeah.
So was there a trend that might have, caught you off guard that you weren't expecting?
Something that I was not expecting was for A-listers to come in jeans and cropped t-shirts. A lot of influencers came in some really fun, well thought out, well in detailed looks. As you can see right there, we have in the middle, Emma Chamberlain, well thought out. But then on the sides, we see Halsey and Kendall Jenner in simple looks, just wearing, low-waisted pants, just basic top, something that I was not expecting. And that's pretty much all I have for you right now. But yeah, Coachella weekend one looked really good. And I'm really excited to see what more looks we have next week.
Well, everything looked amazing to me. I mean, fashion's fashion. Everybody that I looked at looked like they were doing a fantastic job with their outfits. But coming up next, we have our music reporter giving us a little look into his story. And we are going to come back to that very soon, but right now we're going to have a quick break.
I see you mobbing over her.
Welcome to my house. Everybody's pretty tired of each other. The walls were closing in. Clearly a case of too much family, too close, 24/7. If this sounds like your house, try going someplace new. YourLifeYourVoice.org. You'll find lots of ideas to help you handle the family stresses of being confined to close quarters. YourLifeYourVoice.org. It could help you find a little more breathing room.
Jordan knows he shouldn't eat this entire bowl of nachos, but tonight he's earned that right. Because a few hours ago in the middle of happy hour, he recognized a sign. Not from the gods or a bolt of lightning, but from a double heart, a kissy face, and a fourth ha in ha ha ha. That's when Jordan knew he was buzzed. So when it was time to go, he got a ride home instead of driving. Be a legend like Jordan. Recognize your buzzed warning signs and get a ride home. Buzz driving is drunk driving.
Leaving hot coals improperly extinguished can cause a wildfire.
Hey guys, it's Smokey!
It looks as if Smokey is going to use the drown, stir, drown, and feel technique. After the first drown, a good start. Next, another drink. And finally, a close feel.
Is it cool? Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, Smokey, catch. Oh, my bad, Smokey.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
The new Kardashian series premiered almost a week ago, and our pop culture reporter Kaylee DeCina is ready to share her thoughts.
Thanks, Mia. So last week, the Kardashians' new Hulu series premiered, and I have to admit, I watched it twice within the first 2 days it came out. I mean, I'm a huge Kardashian fan, and I really think this series is well done. It did what they promised and followed each sister more individually than the old show. So the episode kicked off with everyone meeting at Kim's house for a barbecue, and then the show kind of broke off into their separate lives. So the show puts up a little graphic with whichever family member we're about to see and then follows them around for a bit. So we got to see Khloe and Tristan talking about their relationship at Tristan's house and some of Kris Jenner's morning routine, but I feel like this episode mainly focused on Travis and Kourtney's relationship. So I really love the first episode, and I love the direction the show's going in. And although it's similar to the old show, this show, they completely acknowledge that they're being filmed, and they even talk to the camera. I also love that the kids are in this series because we didn't see much of them in Keeping Up with the Kardashians. But now we're finally seeing the full family dynamics, and I must say, Kids Kims are definitely funny, and fans on social media think the same thing. I mean, look at this. So, oh, sorry. But people always make jokes on social media saying that Kim's daughter North was put on Earth to humble her, and I think that we're definitely going to see more of that this season. Here you can see Kim's son Saint punching the camera during the episode. I mean, these kids are just wild and so funny. Now, as far as critics' opinions, I was disappointed. Critics said that the show feels scripted and like they're making drama out of nothing, but I actually felt like everyone on the show is way more mature now, and the content really reflects where they're at in their lives. People also said that they don't see a difference between this and the old show, but I think that the editing and filming style definitely gives it a different feel. Now, the part of the episode that is getting the most attention is when Kim's son came up to her with Roblox on his iPad. This ended up being a threat to Kim to release footage of her from years ago, and the rest of the episode follows Kim through navigating the situation with her legal team. Now, I know I will be tuning in next week to see how all of this plays out and what more this famous family has in store. Back to you guys.
Haley, thank you so much. I can't wait to hear more from you about the Kardashians, but from now, we're going to switch to the industry side. From drama getting ignited over to drama getting squashed, our industry reporter Lucas Vogel is here to talk about a massive lawsuit in the television industry that's finally being put to rest. Lucas, it's such a pleasure for you to be here with me. Thank you for coming.
To quote Spencer, I love you.
Oh my God, is it Valentine's Day? What's going on here? Well, let's move into the questions here, Lucas. I know you're a huge fan of the Jackass guys. What does this mean for fans of the franchise and Bam in particular?
Well, this was kind of a huge stain on the series. The reality was, this was a team of close-knit friends. It was a family affair. These guys loved each other, and this Bam lawsuit kind of put that into question. You know when your aunt kind of comes to Thanksgiving and says something mean about your grandma, and you're like, am I not supposed to like my aunt or my grandma? And it all gets so confusing. Just share the turkey, pretend everything's okay, and with this being settled, it starts to all be okay, and I can just finally enjoy the 5th Jackass installment. I'm so excited.
Well, I'm glad you're excited. I'm basically excited at this point because of Lucas. So break down what happened between the guys, though, and Bam that caused such catastrophic legal measures.
Well, so just way back it up, 2009, right? Bam Margera, he's in and out of rehab. He's having trouble with his, controlling his alcoholism, his addiction, and the guys are trying to get him some help, but he's just been in and out of rehab, and he's been diagnosed with bipolar disorder. They want to get him back on for this 5th installment, Jackass Forever, and the reality is, he's not doing so well. He's in rehab. And so they say, you got to take this wellness agreement and you have to sign it and promise you won't do anything. He signs it. He does a scene or two. But before they can do anything else, he unfortunately was not able to live up to that wellness agreement. And so they kick him off the show, where he immediately sues everybody at Paramount, MTV, and all of the guys at Jackass. And unfortunately, that lawsuit went on for a while, but they did settle and they figured it all out.
I'm glad that they settled, and I'm looking forward to seeing if they can finally get around to make another Jackass or if it's the end of it. But that's all the time we really have. And coming up, Mia and I will be celebrating some big spring holidays with our own scavenger hunt. Stay with us, Unpeelers.
WizKid's Made in Lagos tour became the biggest Afrobeats tour in the US. This was seen as a big win for the Afrobeats genre, and here to explain how Afrobeats have been taking over the world is our music reporter Nick Gutierrez.
Thank you, Mia. Projects like Views and More Life featured Afro influences via Afrobeats, dancehall, and calypso artists and beats. Such artists to profit from Drake's vision was WizKid. Thanks to his feature on One Dance, was about to take the US musical market by storm. WizKid is the frontman of Afropop, a subgenre of the all-encompassing genre of Afrobeats. Now, Afrobeats finds its footing in West African nations like Nigeria and Ghana and personifies long-standing traditions told in iconic West African songs in novel ways. WizKid and Afrobeats as a whole wouldn't be where they are today without Fela Kuti, the king of Afrobeat. Afrobeat without the S defied what it meant to be unapologetically African within the continent and abroad. Afrobeats with the S is a derivative which acknowledges the past via classic samples and familiar drum patterns in hybrid electronic forms. However, WizKid isn't the only artist to benefit from Kuti's work. Female artists like the Tago sisters, Tiwa Savage, Amare, and Thames have succeeded in historically misogynistic genre. The inherent juxtaposition in West African music culture, however, is one that projects new, progressive attitudes while suppressing feminine ideas and expression. Though female artists, both past and present, have contributed to the genre in their own ways, Thames is poised to lead the current crop of female Afrobeat stars into the future because of WizKid. Okay, though Drake and Justin Bieber may have seen as Afrobeat tastemakers, for the uninitiated, Afrobeats have a rich history, which I have just scratched the surface. Both WizKid's Made in Lagos album and tour were a celebration of West African culture and music that represents the diaspora at home and abroad. If anything, Afrobeats are well and truly taking over the world.
Thank you so much, Nick, for the music breakdown. As always, now to move on, the past weekend there were two major holidays, Easter and Passover.
And to celebrate, we decided to have our very own egg and matzah hunt right here in the CitrusTV station.
There were eggs hidden around the studio, each worth 1 point, and then our golden matzah was worth 2. Check it out, Unpeelers.
I see egg number 2.
I think I got the coolest looking one.
I'm sorry, Leah, how many eggs do you have?
3? Okay, this is the cutest one.
I'm not seeing any eggs. I'm not seeing any melted.
Do I get points for the cuter ones?
No, I forgot. Egg number 4.
Oh! I found the golden matzah.
Oh my gosh, an egg and a duck. Is that double points?
No points.
Maybe. 8, 9, 9.5.
10, 12.
9.5 to 12.
0.5 to 12. I mean, where's my crown, Mia? I mean, I don't.
All right, you know what? Maybe I let you win. Maybe I saw the golden matzah and I just walked by, but I guess you'll never know.
You weren't even back towards. Come on, you weren't even back towards that part of the station by the time I found it. I let you go ahead.
Like a 0.5 second lead, but honestly, I'm not gonna lie, it was not my best work.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, but you know what? You earned the win. I'll give it to you. But that is all the time that we have. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm Mia MacGregor.
And I'm Leo Silverman. Please be sure to follow us on Instagram at CitrusTV Entertainment. Have a good night.